It was raining that evening. Cold wind blew through the streets. John walked home with a paper bag full of groceries. He didn't like walking at night, but he had no choice today. His shift at the repair shop ended late. As he passed an old alley. Near his apartment, something caught his eye, a small shape. Hiding in the shadows, he slowed down. It was a girl. Maybe 7 or 8 years old. She was sitting against the wall, shivering. Her dress was dirty, torn at the edges. Her hair was a mess. John stopped. He looked around. No one else was there. He slowly walked closer. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked. The girl didn't speak. She looked up at him with big wide eyes, pale blue, strange, too bright, almost glowing. John felt a chill. Something about her felt wrong, or maybe different. "You hungry?" he asked, opening the paper bag. He pulled out a sandwich and a juice box. The girl didn't move at first. Then she stood up slowly, like she hadn't eaten in days. She walked forward, silent. She didn't say thank you. She just took the sandwich, sat back down, and began to eat fast. John stood there, unsure. She was so thin. Her hands were shaking, but she didn't look scared. Just cold, empty. He waited. "Where's your mom?" he asked. No answer. "Do you live nearby?" Still nothing. She didn't even look at him. Just kept eating. Rain started falling harder. Thunder rolled above. John sighed. "Listen, I can't just leave you here." But when he looked back, the girl was gone. He blinked. Looked left, right, nothing. The alley was empty. "What the hell?" he muttered. He hadn't even heard her leave. John went home, still thinking about the girl. He couldn't forget those eyes. That night he had a strange dream. He was floating in space. Stars everywhere. Cold air, silence. He saw the girl, just standing there, in the void, looking at him. She spoke, but no sound came. Her mouth moved, her eyes glowing brighter. He woke up, sweating. The next 3 days were normal. John went to work. Watched TV, tried to forget the dream. But he kept checking the alley every night. The girl didn't return. Until the 4th evening. It was quiet. No rain. John walked home like always and stopped. She was there. Standing at the same spot in the alley. But this time, she wasn't alone. Beside her stood a tall woman. Long black hair, pale skin, and the same glowing blue eyes. She looked calm, but tired. John froze. The girl stepped forward. She pointed at him. "That's him," she said in a soft voice. The woman nodded. "Thank you for feeding my daughter," she said. John blinked. "You're her mother?" "Yes, you weren't here last time." "I was nearby," John frowned. "Why was she alone? It was cold." "She could have—" "We had to hide," the woman interrupted. "Hide? From what?" She didn't answer. The girl looked at John, then at her mother. "Can we stay for tonight?" The woman asked. John hesitated. This was insane. He didn't know them, but something about the way the woman spoke, calm, serious, made him nod. "Okay, just for the night." Back at his apartment, John gave them blankets and let them stay in the guest room. He made tea. The girl didn't talk much. She sat close to her mother, always holding her hand. John asked questions, but the woman gave short answers. "We're travelers." "From where?" "Far away." He wanted to press more, but he didn't. Something felt off. Later that night, he walked past the guest room and paused. He saw light under the door. Strange, glowing light, not from a lamp. It flickered like energy. Soft humming sounds came through the wall, not electrical, something else. John stepped back. In his room. He lay on his bed, eyes wide open. Who were they? Why was the girl alone that night? And what was that light? He didn't sleep well. At 2 a.m., he heard soft whispers through the wall. Not in English? Not in any language he knew. He closed his eyes. Something told him. This was just the beginning. 3 days passed. John couldn't stop thinking about the little girl from the alley. The one with glowing eyes who vanished without a sound. Every evening he checked the same spot, hoping to see her again. Nothing. Until the 4th night. It was just past sunset. The sky was painted in orange and blue. John walked home, head down, lost in thought. Then he stopped. She was there again, standing at the same place in the alley. Quiet, still, But she wasn't alone. This time, a tall woman stood beside her. She looked older but shared the same pale skin and glowing blue eyes. Her hair was long and black. Her face was calm, too calm, like someone who had seen many things. The girl pointed at John. "That's him," she said in a whisper. The woman nodded. "We came back because of what you did." John took a step back. "What I did? You fed her? You showed kindness?" John looked at the little girl. She stared at him with those strange, silent eyes. "I couldn't leave her hungry," he said. The woman gave a small smile. "That act saved both of us." There was a moment of silence. Then the girl tugged her mother's hand. "I'm cold," she said softly. The woman looked at John. "May we stay for the night?" John hesitated. His heart beat faster. Something about them didn't feel normal, but he remembered the girl, how thin she looked, how she ate like she hadn't eaten in days. He sighed. "Yeah, you can stay." Back at the apartment, John gave them blankets and let them stay in the guest room again. He made them warm soup. The girl sniffed it, tasted it, then pushed it away. "I'm not hungry anymore," she said. The woman didn't touch the food either. Instead, she looked around the room like she didn't recognize anything. John tried to act normal. "So, where are you two from?" The woman's answer came slow. "Far, not from this city." "Not from this world," John blinked. "Sorry?" "We come from far beyond your sky," he laughed nervously. "You mean space?" The woman didn't laugh. She just nodded once. John stared at her. "You're serious?" The little girl sat quietly, playing with the light switch, on, off. Every time she turned it off, the room didn't go dark. It glowed faintly, like something inside her was shining. John rubbed his eyes. "Are you aliens?" He asked quietly. The woman tilted her head. "We don't use that word, but yes, not human, not anymore." John stood up. "Okay, this is too much. I just thought you were, I don't know, lost." The woman stood too. We crashed here. We were running from something. Now they're looking for us." John stepped back. Who's they?" "We. Call them the Shades," she whispered. "They don't forgive. They don't forget." John's apartment suddenly felt colder. "Why are you telling me this?" he asked. "Because they found us again," she said. "And you helped us. Now you are part of it." As she spoke, the lights flickered. The windows rattled. A deep hum came from outside, like a distant machine. John ran to the window. Nothing, but in the dark street below, he saw a tall shape standing near the alley. Black, thin, not moving. Its eyes, faint red dots, locked on his window. He froze. "What is that?" he whispered. The woman came beside him. "One of them, a scout." "Why is it just standing there? It's watching, waiting." John turned to her. "I don't want any of this. I just wanted to help a little girl. You did. And now you must help more." The girl spoke for the first time in a while. "We're not bad. We just want to live." John looked at her and his anger faded. She looked so human, but those eyes, he took a deep breath. "What do they want from you?" "Our energy. Our minds. We escaped their control. They don't allow escape." John looked outside again. The shadow was gone. "Where did it go?" he asked. The woman looked worried for the first time. "It's inside the building now." A loud sound came from downstairs, like metal scraping against metal. John's hands shook. "What do we do?" The woman raised her hand, and a pulse of blue light spread across the room, forming a glowing shield near the door. "Stay behind me," she said. John grabbed the girl and pulled her close. Her body was cold, like ice. The hallway lights outside turned off one by one. Heavy steps moved closer, slow, measured. The girl whispered, "It's here." The room was quiet, except for the sound of breathing and the low hum of something not human. John had no idea what he had brought into his home, but one thing was clear. This was no ordinary little girl, and this was no ordinary night. The door didn't open. It didn't need to. The sound came through the walls, like static and whispers mixed together, not loud, not clear, but wrong. It felt like something alive was crawling through the electricity. John stood frozen, back against the wall. The girl held his hand tight. Her fingers were colder than before. The woman, still calm, raised her hand again. A ripple of soft blue light spread across the room like a slow wave, covering the windows and door. Will that keep it out? John asked, voice shaking. For now, she said. But not forever. He took a deep breath. You need to tell me exactly what's going on. The woman turned toward him. Her glowing eyes dimmed slightly, like she was tired. My name is Ayari. This is my daughter, Ilya. We are not human. We once were long ago, but we changed. Changed into what? John asked. Something better, she replied. Faster, stronger, we evolved, but that evolution came with a price. She sat down on the floor as if her legs were finally giving up. We were part of a large colony, a research vessel. We studied stars, energy, life across galaxies. Then we found something we were never meant to see. A species made of shadows and sound. We call them the Shades. John swallowed. Hard. The thing outside. That's one of them? Yes. A scout. If the scout marks us, more will come. Why are they after you? Ayari looked at her daughter. Because I escaped them. I was one of their experiments. I ran, I saved Ilya, and now they hunt us. Ilya sat silently. She was watching the light move on the wall like it was alive. They don't like love, she said quietly. John looked at her. What? They feed on fear, control, but when someone shows kindness, it breaks their hold. Like you did, John shook his head. I'm just a guy who gave a sandwich to a hungry kid. That's more than most would do, Ayari said. John looked at the ceiling. The lights flickered again. Okay, he said. Let's say I believe all this. What now? Are we trapped here? No, but we must leave before the next cycle, she said. What's the cycle? Ayari pointed to the clock. At 3:33 a.m., their signal is strongest. They can cross over fully. Right now, they are still between... John checked the clock. 2:47 a.m., 46 minutes. I have an old car, he said. It's in the parking lot. Maybe we can... He stopped outside the window. 3 dark figures stood in the street, still, watching. Ayari stood again. Even though she looked weak. We'll need to move fast, she said. Once we leave the shield, they'll know. What? Happens if they catch us? They won't kill us, she said. They'll take us, change us, break our minds. Turn us into one of them. John looked at Ilya. Her hand was trembling in his. No, he said. That's not happening. He ran to the closet, grabbed an old baseball bat. Not much, but better than nothing. They got ready to move. Ilya stayed close to her mother, her eyes glowing brighter now, like small stars as they opened the door. The hallway was dark. Silent, Ayari raised her hand. A soft light glowed at her palm, lighting the way. The building felt empty, but not safe. John could feel it, like someone breathing behind his neck. They reached the stairwell. Suddenly, a loud screech echoed down the stairs. A shadow moved fast along the wall. John gripped the bat tighter. Go, Ayari said. I'll block it. No way, John said. We stick together. Ayari closed her eyes and whispered something in a language John didn't understand. A wave of blue light exploded outward, pushing the darkness back. The shadow screamed, but no mouth was seen. They ran down 3 floors, out the front door, into the night. The parking lot was half lit. John's car stood near the back, old, dusty, but still running. The moment they stepped outside, the shadows followed from behind cars. From under streetlights, they came. Too many. John fumbled with his keys. Come on, Ayari stood in front of him, arms wide. Her entire body glowed now, not just blue, but white and gold. Ilya closed her eyes. Her feet lifted slightly off the ground. What are you doing? John shouted. We're buying you time, Ayari said. Drive her out of the signal range, far from the beacon. What beacon? Our ship's beacon, still active, still calling them. You must destroy it. In the forest, we will find you. No way, I'm leaving you both. Ayari touched his hand. You saved her once. You can save her again. John looked into her eyes, glowing but full of something deeply human. Go, she said. John grabbed Ilya, opened the car door, and threw the keys into the ignition. The engine roared. As they drove away, he saw the light behind him. Ayari standing in front of 5 shadows, glowing like a sun. Then silence, Ilya whispered. She come back. She always does. John kept driving. They were not from this world, but now they were his world. Asterisk, the road was empty. John's hands gripped the steering wheel tighter with every mile. The night was thick, silent. Heavy, like something alive, was sitting on his chest. Ilya sat in the passenger seat, quiet, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She didn't cry. She didn't ask questions. She just watched the trees pass by. You okay? John asked, not looking at her. She nodded once. They're not chasing, yet. He glanced in the rearview mirror. No lights, no shapes. Just shadows, she said to get far, he muttered, away from the signal. So we keep going. Ilya looked out the window. They don't like forests. Too much silence, too many echoes. John blinked. That's weirdly specific. I hear things, she said softly. Even when I don't want to. After an hour of driving, they reached an old road near the forest edge. John used to come here when he needed to be alone. No cell signal. No people. Perfect. He parked the car behind some trees. They stepped out. The forest was pitch dark, but peaceful. No lights. Traffic, just wind in the leaves. Come on, John said. We'll stay in the ranger cabin up ahead. Should still be abandoned. As they walked deeper into the woods, the quiet got heavier. Like the forest was holding its breath, the cabin stood between 2 large trees made of old logs and rusted metal. The front door creaked when John pushed it open. He checked the inside quickly. Still dusty. Still safe. He found an old oil lamp and lit it. The small flame gave a warm orange glow. Ilya sat near the fireplace, hugging her knees. She looked more tired now. John sat across from her. You okay? She used too much power, Ilya said, to protect you. Now she's weak. John didn't say anything for a moment. She told me to destroy the beacon. Where is it? Ilya pointed upward, near the crash site, in the hills. The beacon sends signals every night. The shadows follow the call. And if I shut it down, they'll lose track. Maybe forever, John nodded. Then that's what I'll do. The cabin was silent for hours. John sat near the window, holding the bat, eyes half closed. Ilya slept, but her breathing was slow. Too slow. Something didn't feel right. Then a knock. Just one. John froze. Another knock. Then silence. He looked outside. No one. He grabbed the bat, walked to the door slowly, and opened it. Just a crack. Nothing but trees. He stepped out, heart racing. Anyone there? He whispered. No answer. Then he saw it. Just for a second. A shadow moved between 2 trees. Thin, fast. He stepped back inside and locked the door. Ilya, he whispered. Wake up. She opened her eyes slowly. They found us. Suddenly, the oil lamp flickered. The flame danced wildly. A voice came through the walls, soft, whispering. Not English. Not human. John covered his ears. The sound felt like knives in his brain. Ilya stood, her body glowing faintly again. They're in the dark, she said. They speak through shadows. The lights went out completely. Only her glow remained. John grabbed a flashlight. Switched it on. The beam landed on the window. There, outside, a face, gray, long, no mouth. Just eyes like black holes. It vanished. He stepped back. They're circling us, Ilya said. They don't enter quickly. They enjoy the fear. John locked the door tighter, pushed a chair under the handle. How do we stop them? You can't stop them, she said. You can only break the signal. Suddenly the window shattered. A cold wind rushed inside. A shadow crawled across the floor, not walking, sliding like smoke. John swung the bat, but it passed through. The shadow hissed, then reformed behind him. Ilya raised her hand. A pulse of light burst from her palm, hitting the shadow. It screamed, a sound that wasn't sound, and vanished, but more came, from the walls, from the floor. From the dark corners. John grabbed Ilya's hand. We run, now. They ran into the woods, flashlight bouncing. Trees passed like ghosts. Ilya glowed brighter as they moved, like a star burning faster. Behind them, shadows followed, silent, fast, like black waves. John remembered the old tower on the hill, near where the ship crashed. That's where the signal must be, he told her. She nodded. Yes, but it's guarded. I figured, John said, panting. As they reached the hill, the air changed, thicker, heavier, like walking through water. The trees thinned, and they saw it, a tall metal structure, half buried, still pulsing with faint red light. The beacon, the source. John stepped forward, then stopped. In front of the beacon stood three shadows, larger than the others. Their eyes glowed red. Ilya whispered, "Those are the sentinels. They don't let anyone near." John raised the bat. "Stay behind me," he said. Ilya reached into her pocket and pulled out something glowing, a shard, small and warm. "What is that?" he asked. "My mother gave it to me," she said. She said, "It's our last light." Then she stepped forward. And the shadows moved. The beacon pulsed like a heartbeat, red light, then darkness. Again and again, as if the machine itself was alive. John stood frozen. Three dark sentinels blocked the path, tall, shapeless, and silent. Their eyes glowed red. No mouths, no faces, just cold watching. Ilya stood beside him, holding the glowing shard her mother gave her. Her small hand trembled, but her eyes stayed focused. "They sense fear," she whispered. "I've got plenty," John muttered, gripping his bat tighter. Ilya closed her eyes. The shard pulsed in her palm, soft white light pushing back the red glow of the beacon. The sentinels twitched. John took a step forward. The ground beneath his feet shook, not violently, but like a warning. "They won't let us near it," he said. "They can't stop both of us at once," Ilya replied. He turned to her. "What do you mean? You go for the beacon?" "I will distract them." John shook his head. "No way, you're a kid." "I'm not just a kid," she said softly. "I was born in space. I was born different." Her eyes glowed a little brighter. "I can do this." John hesitated. He wanted to say no. He wanted to protect her. But deep inside he knew she was right. He took a deep breath. "All right. You lead them left, I go right." Ilya nodded. John ran. The sentinels reacted instantly. Two followed him. One chased Ilya. John ducked behind a broken metal panel and crawled through the ruins of the ship. The red pulse of the beacon lit up the corridor. The machine was close now, hidden behind fallen steel and vines. The sound of the beacon grew louder, a deep hum that vibrated inside his bones. He turned a corner and stopped. There it was, a tall glass tower, cracked but still glowing red. Wires dangled from it like roots. At its center, a blinking core, a pulse of alien technology. John ran toward it, bat in hand. Back outside, Ilya dodged between broken ship parts. The sentinel behind her was fast, faster than shadows should be. But Ilya moved with purpose. She ran to a raised platform and held the shard high. "I'm not afraid of you," she said. Her voice was clear. The shard responded, glowing bright white. So bright that the sentinel stopped moving. It twitched, then let out a low, painful screech. Ilya's eyes glowed too now, brighter than ever. The shadow tried to reach her, but couldn't. It melted into smoke, fading into the air. John reached the core. He swung the bat. Once, twice. Crack. Sparks flew. Red light flickered. He swung again, harder. The core cracked open. A loud screech filled the air, the same sound from the shadows. The red light blinked faster, faster, then silence. The beacon was dead. The hum stopped. The air felt lighter. Then a blast of force threw John backward. He hit the wall hard and dropped the bat. Smoke filled the room. He coughed, got to his knees. He looked up. The core was broken. The light was gone. It was done. But something was wrong. Outside, Ilya suddenly fell to her knees. The shard turned dark in her hand. She gasped. The last energy was gone. The last connection to her mother used. John stumbled out of the ruins, limping. He saw her lying on the ground. "Ilya!" He rushed to her side. Her eyes were dim, her voice weak. I used all of it," she said. John held her close. "You did great. You saved us." She nodded once, eyes closing, but then a sound. From behind, a shadow, the last sentinel, Still here. It floated above them. No legs, no arms, just smoke and red light. Its body shimmered like broken glass. A final guard left behind. John stood, placing himself between Aaliyah and the sentinel. No, he said, I'm done running. The sentinel floated closer. John raised his bat, even though he knew it wouldn't work, but then the wind changed. A soft sound, like singing, moved through the air. Light, soft blue light, bloomed from the trees. From the shadows came a figure. Ayari. Weak, glowing faintly, but alive. She walked forward, eyes locked on the sentinel. You failed, she said. The beacon is gone. Your time is over. The sentinel screamed. Ayari raised her hands. A wave of blue light burst out, stronger than before. Pure, clean, endless. The sentinel exploded into smoke. Silence returned. John rushed to her. You're alive. Ayari nodded, barely standing. I followed the shard. She used it well. Elia opened her eyes again. Mom, Ayari knelt beside her, holding her tight. You were so brave. John looked at the sky. The stars above were clear now. No shadows. No red lights. It was over. That night, they stayed in the cabin, quiet, safe. Ayari slept for the first time in days. John sat near the window, watching the forest breathe. He looked at Elia, who now slept peacefully, her hand wrapped around the empty shard. Tomorrow, they would decide what came next. But tonight, they had one. Together. Morning light broke through the trees. The forest looked peaceful. Now, like nothing strange had ever happened, birds sang. Wind moved gently through the leaves, but John knew better. He stood outside the cabin, holding a metal piece from the destroyed beacon, burnt wires. Cracked glass, silent now, but still warm. Like it wasn't fully dead. Inside the cabin, Ayari slept deeply. Her strength hadn't returned. Her glow was gone. Aaliyah sat on the floor, watching the fire, quiet, still holding the empty shard like it was a part of her. John walked back in. It's not over, Aaliyah nodded without looking up. There's one more signal. John frowned. What do you mean? She looked at him with tired eyes. The beacon we destroyed was only the call. There's a second one, the last signal. A backup, hidden underground. John sat down. Of course there is. If we don't stop it, she continued, they'll find us again. Not today, not tomorrow, but one night when we're asleep, they'll come. John stared at the fire. Then we finish this. They left the cabin that afternoon. John carried Ayari on a stretcher made from tree branches and cloth. She was too weak to walk. Elia led the way, using her memory to guide them through the forest. After 2 hours of walking, they reached a rocky hill. This is it, Elia said. The signal is inside. A crack in the earth opened between the stones. Cold air poured out from it. They entered. The tunnel was narrow and dark. John used a flashlight. Elia didn't need one. Her eyes glowed faintly again, small like flickering stars. Ayari whispered weakly. Be careful. The backup signal is protected, not by shadows, but by what's left of the ship. What does that mean? John asked. You'll see, she said. The tunnel led to a metal door. Half buried in stone, covered in moss and dust. But still working. Still humming. John touched it. The door opened slowly, revealing a room deep underground. It wasn't big, just a control center. Wires dangled from the ceiling. Screens flashed symbols. And in the middle, a black cube floating above the floor. Silent, waiting. That's it, Elia said, the final signal. John stepped forward, then the room changed. The lights turned red. A voice, not human, filled the air. Intruder detected. The walls shifted. Mechanical arms came out, shaped like long spider legs, cold, sharp. John pulled Elia behind him. I hate space tech, he muttered. A hologram formed in the air. A figure made of static and blue light stood tall in front of the cube. It was him, John's face, but not him, eyes glowing. Skin metallic. Voice flat, human. John Miller, identified, access denied. John blinked. What the hell is this? Ayari coughed from behind. They scanned your mind. Made a copy. A false version of you. Now it guards the signal. Elia stepped forward. Then we destroy it. The hologram lunged forward. Not just light, solid now. A fake version of John, stronger, faster. Real John swung a metal rod. It hit the copy, but bounced off. The clone didn't flinch. It grabbed him, threw him across the room. Pain shot through his back. Leo ran toward the cube. The clone blocked her path, but before it could grab her, Ayari stood up, glowing weakly, and raised her hand. Blue energy cracked through the air. Not strong, but enough. The clone paused. That was the opening. John, limping, reached behind the control panel. Wires sparked. He yanked one out. The cube dimmed. The clone screamed, sound glitching like broken speakers. Aaliyah jumped and slammed the shard. The empty one, into the cube, a blinding flash. Silence. John opened his eyes slowly. The cube was gone. The clone? Gone too. The red lights faded. Ayari fell to her knees, breathing hard. Ilya rushed to her. It's done, she said. John looked around. That was the last one? Ayari nodded weakly. Yes, the last signal is dead. For the first time in days there was no hum. No flicker. No shadows moving in the dark. Just silence. Real silence. They returned to the surface that night. The sky above them was filled with stars. Real stars. No eyes watching, no ships hiding, no whispers. John looked at Ayari, now standing slowly on her own, supported by Ilya. What happens now? Ayari looked at the stars. We rest. For now, but this world is still not safe. More will come, she nodded. Not for us, but for your kind. Earth shines too bright. One day something else will see it. John nodded. Then I'll be ready. Ilya smiled softly. You're not just human anymore? John raised an eyebrow. No? She shook her head. You're more. You chose light. When you could have walked away. That night, they lit a fire near the edge of the forest. No shadows came. Only peace. Only stars. But in the distance, far beyond the sky, something watched. A new signal. Faint. Waiting. It had been 3 weeks since the last signal was destroyed. No more red lights. No more shadows. No more fear in the dark. John had returned to his old life, but everything had changed. He still lived in the same apartment. Same street, same old coffee mug. But now, 2 others lived with him. Ayari and Ilya. They stayed hidden, like ghosts from another world. But they weren't ghosts, they were survivors, and now they were family. The first few days were hard. Ayari could barely move. She slept for hours, sometimes days. Her body was healing, but slowly. Ilya didn't go outside. She stayed near the windows, watching people walk by. Curious, quiet. She didn't talk much, but she always listened. John tried to give them space. He cooked meals, cleaned the place, fixed broken things. Anything to avoid thinking too hard about what had happened. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, he still woke up thinking he heard whispering, but it was just the wind. Usually. One morning, Ilya sat at the kitchen table, looking at John's laptop. She tilted her head. What's this? She asked. It's the internet, he said. Earth's way of sharing things. She scrolled slowly. Pictures of animals. Videos of people dancing, news, laughter, anger. So much noise, she whispered. Your world is loud. John nodded. That's why I like the forest. Ilya looked at him. You're different from most humans, he smiled. I've been told that before. Ayari finally woke up on the 10th day. She sat in the sunlight, drinking warm tea. Her glow had returned, just a little. Thank you, she said to John. For what? For not leaving. For choosing to stay when it got hard. He sat across from her. Most people would have done the same. No, she said calmly. Most would have run, or worse, handed us over. John didn't argue. Deep down, he knew she was right. I was tired of living for myself, he said. Maybe this was what I was meant to do. She nodded. You're a protector now. Later that night, Ilya had another dream. She saw the stars. Bright, endless, and beyond them a shape. Not a shadow this time. A ship. Different, bigger. She woke up gasping. Ayari came into the room. What did you see? Ilya pointed to the ceiling. Something's coming. Not soon, but not far either. Ayari nodded. Then we prepare. John fixed up the basement. Turned it into a lab, a safe room, a place where they could build something new. I taught him how to connect. Wires the alien way. Ilya started reading everything. Science, history, even fiction. We'll need to understand your people better, she said, before others arrive. What will you do if they find you again? John asked. Ayari looked at him. We'll protect this place like you did. 1. Evening, John stood on his balcony looking at the stars. Ilya came beside him, quiet. Do you ever miss your real home? He asked. This is our home now, she replied. He looked at her. You sure? She nodded. You fed me when I had nothing. You fought for us. You listened. No one from my world ever did all that, John smiled. So you're staying? Yes, she said. We stay with you now? The doorbell rang. John frowned. He wasn't expecting anyone. He looked through the peephole. No one. He opened the door slowly. A small package sat at the doorstep. No label, just a smooth black box with a single word written on top in glowing letters. John. He picked it up carefully. Ayari appeared behind him, eyes narrowing. Put it down, she whispered. Why? He asked. That's not human tech. John placed it on the table. The box opened by itself. Inside, a chip, thin, clear, and a message. A hologram flickered to life. A face appeared, human-looking, but cold, to the one who broke the last signal. John's heart skipped a beat. We saw your light. We will see it again. The hologram vanished. Silence. Ayari touched the chip. It's a warning, she said. Or an invitation. John looked at Ilya. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever. We're not alone anymore, she whispered. That night, John stood at the window. The sky was the same as always. Beautiful, endless, full of mystery. But now he understood something deeper. Earth was never alone, and the fight wasn't over. But this time, he wouldn't face it alone. Together, they would be ready.